Hello. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Today I kind of want to do something. I am really wanting to work in this steampunk field notes journal. And part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I've collected to go in this and why I collected this. And then hopefully we'll do a page to go in it as well. So I think I mentioned before that I started with this map. So I'm going to try to do this without creating a craft-a-lanch. I've got so many things on my desk right now, partly because I wanted to show you things. So hopefully this doesn't glare too bad. I think I'm going to try zooming out a little, and sorry if that went all wonky. So I found this trail book at a thrift store last year, and I had to buy it because it had these like cool flip out maps. They're trifold. Some of them have like writing, well, all of them have writing on the back, but all of these pages are just so phenomenal. A lot of them are maps, some of them are straight information, like this one. Um, and this idea started percolating in my head to do some kind of field note type journal. Just because the maps made me think of field notes and I don't know, that kind of thing. Um, but so that was my beginning part. Then the next thing that I did is I've got a subscription to Creative Fabrica, and I found, oh, these are pages from it as well. So I also pulled out like images to go in there that I really like. I found on Creative Fabrica these like they come together as a set of pages. So I picked them up, but they didn't quite do it for me. For one thing, the size doesn't work because they're meant to be printed as 12 by 12. So if you print them on 8.5 by 11, automatically they're really small. They just didn't quite fit. They just didn't fit. I found some other ones on Creative Fabrica that might have worked, and it kind of stalled out there, partly because I couldn't get the idea to work, partly because my house fell apart at the end of last year and I was forced to move and I didn't craft for about, I don't know. Well, it was only 6 weeks, but it felt like 4 months. It was probably the longest 6 weeks of my life. Um, but then after I moved here, um, I had gotten this etiquette book. It wasn't actually the book I was going to start with. The book I was going to start with became, just one second. Yeah, the book I was going to start with became this one, this journal. And I really liked the journal or the book, like the floral, like the spine, but it felt too small. I I wanted something bigger, something. For one thing, the maps kind of lose they fit, but it just felt too small. So that's where I started. And then from there, I kept seeing on Instagram other people using um, AI, Bing, whatever. And, I started to play around with AI generation. And well, it kind of morphed into steampunk because I am me and I am heavy into steampunk. Steampunk is one of my maybe first all-time loves. So this morphed into a steampunk field notes, journal, mashup thing. So a lot of the images are strictly field note floral. Some of the images, like this woman, are almost more strictly steampunk. And that's kind of, so I tried. I'm going to kind of go all over the place here, but I'll try to stay focused. I'll try to stay focused. So what I did next after the maps and after generating a bunch of AI images is go through my books. And I found this forestry handbook, which has all kinds of charts and information about forestry. I didn't actually use any of the pages in it because I forgot about it with my move, but then I found it afterwards. So this will probably wind up being ephemera for the book. I also have this book that I forgot about in my move, and it's got information and then glossy images with trees and bugs and birds, and these things make amazing pockets, so I'll probably use this in there. Just going to move this out of my way. And then what I do when I'm creating a journal is I gather bits and pieces together that I want to go into it and kind of put it in a bin. So these are all AI generated little labels with floral images. I've got dragonflies that are all steampunk. I have book pages from floral books. I have a tiny little baby floral book. I have a field guide to Rocky Mountain wildflowers. Leftover little bits of digital images that didn't make it into the book. And then this is the lace that went onto the front cover of the journal. I get the effect with the color. Part of it is sprayed with vintage oxide distress spray, and then the purpley color are Pearl FX mica powders. So they will stay in almost permanent, and they give that nice pinkish. And then on the leaves here, I've also used some golden. I think I used the interference green as part of the spray in it, because it gives it this almost like a grungy greenish, like vintage oxidey kind of color, but it gives it a bit of shimmer as well, which I thought kind of matched the steampunk. Rivets and lace, watercolor flowers, which may or may not get used because they're pretty bright, and just like little random bits of things. And then I will pull from it as I go along. Not that one. That one's pretty green. Not sure why that's in there. Maybe I'll put that up there. And then just like this was an idea for the closure, but the closure won't work. I want it to come along like that, but it won't work. But I do have an idea for the closure for that. So I think what I want to do is work in this journal more consistently online, because steampunk is my thing, shall we say. That's why I've named my channel Beyond Brass, because when I had an Etsy store, my Etsy store is called Beyond Brass, and I used to sell stitch markers that were steampunk inspired or inspired by Art Nouveau and Art Deco, which are my other two huge loves. So I kind of feel like I need to stick with who I am and where I am. Like I was doing Junk Journal July and I really enjoyed it. But I need to like kind of go where I need to go. So what I want to do, I think to begin with, I don't usually work on pages specifically front to back. So I don't necessarily start at the front and go, now I'm going to put this in, now I'm going to put that in. I know a lot of junk journalers will build all their signatures before they put it into their spine. Because I work with book covers almost primarily when I'm building a journal, I feel I can put all my signatures in first and then fill it with ephemera because I have a really good idea the maximum size this can get to based on the signature. But if that's not your process, don't work that way. Work to whatever your process is. I will say that over and over again in here is find your process and work to your process. So one of the first things I want to do is cover this page because although it's interesting, I think it's kind of boring. So how I do this when I'm working in there is I figure out what am I trying to do? Like what fits with what I've already got in here, what fits with my theme, what fits with my colors, that kind of thing. So I've got like this, which has all kinds of grungy flowers. I want this to be really heavy into the field notes and the steampunk so that it, when it's all said and done, looks like some woman is out there taking notes, recording what she sees, and just basically, this is what I saw today, that kind of thing. And I never have anything specific in mind beyond that general idea and how I want it to be when it's said and done. So I'm going to get my trimmer so that if I'm going to cut down pages like this one, I can figure out where to go. These Fisker trimmers are really amazing. You might not be able to see it, but this is a hard line for your trimmer. This is where the edge of your, like this, where your blade is going to go is pretty close. It's not spot on, it's a little inside of it, but it's really, really close. When you print a digital, your printer is never going to be 100% square to your piece of paper. It will, you'll think it is, but it never is 100% square. So use the edge of your digital to line up with whatever, where your trimmer blade is. The Fiskars that's got the little wire in it is really, really, really good for lining up with a line on a digital because you can see where the line of that wire is, and that's 100% where it's going to cut. So you can see that that trimmed like exactly where I want it. So then I can decide, do I want that image to be like a focal image on there, Do I want to collage? Do I want to turn it into a pocket? Do I want to turn it into a flip, tuck, fold, flappy foodle thing? Because I do those all the time. And if I want to turn it into a flippy, foldy thing, then just going to put my, yeah, then I can put this. What I would probably do is, realistically, I should have waited to put the map on the front of my cover until I was done my journal, but I always build my covers before I do the rest. So yeah. Oh, you know what I can do? There's these things called paper clips. Hang on. Huh. That. Very helpful, because this is a pocket in the back and a pocket in the front here. So I just paper clip that to the pocket and this to the top so it doesn't flip all over everywhere on me every minute. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this over here like this, because I full on love these birds. Absolutely full on love these birds. Am I on frame? I am. Hey, that's a miracle. And then I am going to trim this back because I don't need it so wide. And I just put my bin on top of my garbage so I can't just like throw things in my bin. I am going to leave this up like this a little bit. So that, like, I'm going to leave it flush to the where the photo ends, and then try to get it so that it doesn't interfere with the crease at the back. Okay. Now the other thing that I want to do, and for this I think I need my scoreboard. Hopefully this doesn't make too crashy a noise. I think I mentioned before, this is a Bira Bira scoreboard. It is 12.5 inches long. No, 12 inches long, 6.5 inches wide, 6 3/4 inches wide. And I love this thing so much because it fits my desk without taking up a lot of room. I just like, so glad I got this. So glad I got this. I'll see if I can find a link for it on Amazon and put a link for it below if you want to see what it is. It's a lot less expensive than a traditional 12 by 12. Sorry, brain farts. It's a lot less expensive than a traditional 12 by 12. But it gives you that like full, and then you've got like room here, folds this way so you can go diagonally, and apparently you can do like, I don't know, envelopes, or I don't know what all you can do with it. I haven't figured out the full extent of what it can do. I'm gonna trim back these little corners here so that they don't bind when I fold everything over. I think I'm going to trim this back a little too because that's really wide. I'm folding back this top part partly as reinforcement. And the only reason that I folded it just that 1/4 inch is that I don't want to lose a lot of the photo when or the digital, when I create that tuck spot. Put my garbage. Oh, I banged you. I'm so sorry. All right, so that works. I haven't put a little gusset at the bottom because I don't think it needs it. And technically the top is not a gusset. I'm gluing that down and then I'll put a notch in it. So put a bead of glue. Technically you could cut out this part here where it comes over the fold, but I'm not that worried about it binding on the edge when that is folded over that pocket. So once I determine that this is going on here like this, obviously I can't just leave that hanging out. Well, I mean I could, but I won't because for one thing, I don't want all this white down here, and I don't want those funny blue trees up there. But I also don't want, I don't want to ink because this is a gloss paper, and if I use a distress oxide, the ink will not adhere to the paper. It will smudge and smear and get all over your fingers, my fingers. Not yours, because you're not playing with this. Unless you come visit. So what I will probably do is put washi. Because, you know, washi. And then to determine where I want washi. And what washi. I really like this brown one. I did try to find more. I realized I bought it off Temu. What a lot of these inexpensive washi tapes, they're wonderful, but they're not very. You buy them once and then you look again and they're no longer available. They don't stay around very long. The popular ones, you'll buy it and it'll be gone. So if you want enough to do a project, you're better off to buy like 2 or 3 boxes all at once. So I'm hoping, I ordered some other math type ones and I'm hoping that they're good enough that. Do I want that little butterfly there? I don't mind that butterfly. Okay, let's put that butterfly. And I do like to put a little bit of glue along the bottom, especially with these washies that come from AliExpress and Temu and, well, even Amazon. A lot of these washies you can get on all 3 places. Like if you see it on AliExpress, it's going to be on Temu. If you see it on Temu, it's going to be on Amazon. You'll have a different price for the 3 different locations, but they're on all 3. Especially this one, I think it's called Songdao. You can get it on all 3. You can get it on AliExpress, Amazon, and Temu. I also need just a tiny little piece, probably of washi here, because it'll be sticky through that hole. And just a little narrow one is going to be fine. So this is a perfect place to use some of your, like the washes that you look at, because this is going to be covered with my pocket. So I can put like what I would consider an ugly washi. Or not, like maybe not ugly overall, but one that I wouldn't put in the journal like anywhere else. A little glue down so it sticks. Now I want to put something at the top to cover that tree. So I have kind of like ledgery-ish type. I have lots of actual real live 100% ledger. Could use that. I have these digitals that are, you can't see, oh, you can see them. Isn't that a miracle? So do I want to use like ledger? The ledger matches the green of this. This page is, I got a pad of this stuff. It's the most amazing paper. I love it. I got it at a thrift store. It's obviously vintage. This little line, that's patina from the page. You can print on it because it's 8.5 by 11 and blank on one side. It's so fun to print a digital on it. There may be some in here that I printed. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember all that I put in there. So, what else? What else do I have? Put that on there. And I'm going to turn this side into a pocket. And that side into a pocket because I can, and it would be cute. Yes, I'm going to turn both of them into a pocket. So if I turn that into a pocket and glue it on the top, it's not going to interfere with anything coming in and out. So I don't want anything, I really, really, really like that floral, but I don't want it on there because I think it kind of interferes with what's behind there. Like it doesn't work with this steampunk. So I do kind of want something more ledger-like. I tend to print too many pages because I don't know what I want to use, and then I have all kinds of stuff to play with. Ooh, that's nifty. That would work behind that too. Definitely that would work behind that. Alright, so little ruler. Maybe my bigger ruler to begin with. I obviously had some other idea in mind because there's folding involved in that page. I do that all the time. I like will have a piece of something and I'll go, I don't want it there, and then it just like has folds in it like this right here. I think I was gonna make that a page. Oh, a thing. It was gonna be a whole thing. Put that away so I don't lose it. Also, let me know if you want to see how I did this rust, because I'm more than happy to show you how I did the rust. And now I lost my page. Where did my page go? Here it is. So that needs to go about there. That will work. I don't want this piece of paper to come all the way into the edge, because otherwise it won't adhere nicely, and every time I turn the page, this will come up, and eventually it'll like not be glued down to the background, and that's not really what I want. I'm going to glue it down with my Barely Arts, partly because the page is shiny, and partly because my Barely Arts is on my desk. And I don't have the best relationship with glue stick. I use it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I find it doesn't work as consistently and as well as I want it to. And Barely Arts gives me the wiggle room that I need. It moves around as I need it to. And then again here, I need to put something up at the top. So I want to, I think yeah, I do. I need to put something up at the top. And I think with this one, I am going to use this brown one, because it will kind of fit with the steampunk, and it will, I just like really, really like it. And it's got an N on it, which for some reason I think is quite fun. I don't want to put too much glue on there. I think I'm going to pull that up just a little bit more. If I can do that without wrecking everything. Come on. There you go. Try that again. Now I really need glue on there. Put that up a little higher. That's better. Want more of that end to show. That's better. Now, to figure out whether or not I want to cover that somewhat. And actually, I think I'm going to put a little bit down here. Oh, yeah, maybe not. Because if I put something down here, what can happen is that whatever I put in and out of the pocket can wind up getting caught on whatever I put down here and bunch up and not go down the way that I want it to, and that would just frustrate me in the end. So I think unless I put washi along the outside edge of this, this pack of washi is this one, Traces in the Jungle. This one I know you can still get. I've seen it on, well, everywhere. AliExpress, Temu, Amazon. I've seen it on Amazon as well. And I really like it because it's got bugs and butterflies and stuff. Looks quite... the whole reason I got this one is it looks very much like it's field notey. Well, that's kind of cool. So what I'm going to try to do, and I don't know if it's going to work. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to try using my... no, I'm going to use this one because it's a... Oh, sorry. This is also a VersaFine. This is vintage sepia, so it's a little less brown, and it's also a little less juicy than some of my other VersaFine. Like the Stays On is really juicy, but this one is not so juicy. It says she, and then it goes all juicy. You know what would have been really cool is if I had a stencil. Do I have a stencil? 1 second. Okay, so I have this. It's a TCW stencil. Rebecca Meyer Designs. TCW 454S. And it's even called Mini Specimens. So I think I might use my Stays On. Oh, look at that. That looks nice. I don't even mind that that's got 2 different browns. At least at this point in time in my life, I don't mind that that's got 2 different browns. I might at some other point in time in my life decide I really wish I hadn't done that. I'm using the Stays On again because, like I said, this is a glossy paper, and the Stays On will adhere better. A lot of the other inks will smudge and smear. Distress oxide will definitely smear on a glossy surface. All right. Yeah, I really like that. Oh, oh, oh. you know what? Because we can. Let's put a little bit on this side too. Try to make sure that we don't put it on the page behind it, because that would be silly beans. Okay, maybe we did a little bit, which is silly beans. Oh, I like that. Yes, I really like that. And if I wind up disliking that, I'll probably come in and put washi tape over top of it or something, just so it doesn't look like I was an idiot and put ink where I didn't want it. So I'm going to come along and glue this along my 2 gussets. And the bottom. Oh, you know what I needed to do? Is trim this to make sure it doesn't come out. And try to trim it in such a way that that little piece with the glue on it doesn't fall into my journal and adhere to it, because you know that's the way I roll. I like to get a really small line of glue at the bottom edge of my pocket. Sometimes I'm a lot less successful about that than other times. Also need to make sure that that lines up on the front with where I want that, because the rest will work out. All right, so this has a pretty bold image on the front. So I have to determine whether or not I want like something else. Like I have washi. These are more planner oriented, but they got lots of numbers on them. I have dragonflies. So I think a dragonfly could be really cool on that. Not that one, because you can't even tell it exists. No, because those are not going to show up, even vaguely. I like that bird. Really like that bird, but you can't tell it's there. Also have a butterfly. Okay. I don't know that any of those are going to work, just because the background is so desperately dark. What I could do is these are all AI generated. If you're interested, what I could do is I could put a bunch of these that I created with AI on my Ko-fi page for you. Let me know if you would be interested in something like that, and I will definitely do that for you. Because they're AI, they're free. Like, you can't copyright AI. So if you're interested, I'm more than happy to put those on Ko-fi. I've got like, I managed to get a whole bunch of really fun stuff out of it. Say hello to Little. That's him being a little silly noodle. He doesn't like it when I'm not talking to him. He thinks his life is completely ended. I think that's fairly typical of cats, isn't it? Is that they believe the universe rotates around them, and if you prove that it doesn't, they get pretty agitated because they're like, wait a minute, I was like the center of everything, and how did I suddenly stop being the center of everything? I'm not liking any of these either. They're just too busy. I want to put that bird on there so badly. Where, what did I do? Oh, I put them away. Just hang on. Okay, so I put one of those washi stickers on a little bit of that ledger paper. Wasn't really too worried about direction of it or anything like that because I want the creaminess of the ledger paper to be what shows. And then this is from something completely different, but I kind of like it against that. It sort of works. And then I really want to get that so that the 140 shows up. Yeah, I think maybe like that. Pardon my arm. I'm gonna go all quiet here because I'm gluing and I can't talk and glue at the same time. I will never admit it's because I put the pin from the glue in my mouth, and that is why I can't do both. Never. Okay, so we could. No, we cannot, because that's a pocket. Don't be a silly goose. Try to remember what you're doing. Oh, does that really? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Oh my gosh, that says Bahia Blanca. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, Bahia Blanca is one of the best tangos ever written. Ever written. It's also, at the time that I went to Argentina to dance tangos, was one of the best milongas I have ever been to. It, ah, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I just like, ah, that is, I had no idea that was on that washi sticker. No idea that that was on there. Oh my gosh, that, Sorry, I might have gotten a little like distracted there. One of the things that I really, really, really want to do is a tango journal. I have actually created a whole bunch of digitals for it so that I'm prepped and ready to go. It might be the next one that I do after this one. I managed to glue that page almost shut because I'm like silly. Not even sure how I did that. Yeah. So, little page, pretty birdie because everything needs a bird or a butterfly or something like that. More birdies. Little pocket. Might come in next time and do like tags for it. Let me know if you would want me to do the tags for that next. Often what I do, that's not necessarily how I work. What I'll do is I will create something like this with two little pockets, but I won't create the tags that go in the pocket. That little flower is coming up. Hang on. From here, I will go to the next thing that kind of like feels like it needs something. Um, Often what I do to begin with is like this. This was a page that I had put in there because I wanted one of those map pages as an actual page in the journal, and knew that at some point in time it would get covered. So I'll go through. This one was pretty close to the front, but I'll go through and I'll go, I don't like that, and I'll cover it. But I may then flip through and not do anything to, like, maybe the next thing I would do is go, do I want that to be a flip out or glued down to be a side tuck? But I might not decide that right away. In fact, I probably won't because I don't know yet. But then I may go through on a fairly rapid basis. Like the next thing I work on might be this, because I may look at this and go, gee, the lace is really pretty, but that's too heavy on lace, not enough like botanical field note floral type. So I may cover this one next. Or I may just keep going and go, um, nah, and I just don't know. Like, I don't know how I'm going to work on it. A lot of it has to do with my frame of mind when I'm starting. A lot of it has to do with where I want like fiddly bits, or like here, for example, like I'm like going through that, and I really like the bird. That's a nice focal point. I like these flowers and the kind of almost like a ledger behind it. Um, I folded that over so it doesn't come out as much on the outside of the journal. I mean, technically I could leave it, in which case it needs washi, but I folded it back and forth like it's some kind of hinge. And then, like, do I want to trim that off where I folded that? Do I want to fold it back like this and glue it? Which is actually what I think I'll do. Hopefully I didn't put enough glue on the rest of the pages to glue them shut like I did with that pocket. All right. So I'm going to continue working on this journal for the next little while because I feel like I failed miserably at Junk Journal July. I got about 20 days and then it just like fell apart for me. So let's work on this journal together for a while. If you prefer that you see something else, like for me to go back to the sewing journal, or work on, like, I don't know, like, let me know what you would be interested in seeing, and we can go from there. And until next time, I hope you have a really crafty day. Talk to you later. Bye.